Hey guys, how you doing? Brady here with the Random Woodworker. Welcome to Builder Series Part 4, Building a Chessboard. Let's get started. While this is drying, let's go ahead and build the border for this. Now, if you notice, the grain is running this direction all the way across the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of this that are going to be, this is 5 inches. So I'm going to have them 4 inches long. Okay, so you got 4 times 5 is 20 inches. That'll go about here. 20 inches will more than cover, the 45s I'm going to put on this. So I'm going to make a border probably 1.5 inches black walnut. But what I decided, the grain's going to run this way on these 2 sides. I'm going to go ahead and cut the 4 pieces, glue them side by side for the other sides. So the grain will still run the same way. So I'm going to go out and cross cut 4 pieces of this, and from that point I'm going to run it through the planer and then the joiner. Okay, next step, I want to create a border here, and I'm going to be different. I'm going to cross cut these pieces so the grain runs this way on the 2 ends. Of course the sides will run the grain, but I want the grain to run the same way around the whole border. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to send this through the joiner, and then I'm going to rip it to about 4 inches. Now, never assume, because this is 4.5, down here is 4.5, so that's why I'm doing that. I'm going to go ahead and join it, and then I'm going to send it through the table saw. Now I know I got the same width all the way down. Okay, ready to joint now. I notice I always pull up my sleeves when I'm working with any power tool. Okay, now I'm going to take it over to table saw and rip it down. Okay, this is the jointed side. It goes against the fence, and I'm going to go ahead and rip it. Now I'm going to go ahead and send this edge through the joiner again. Okay, looking good. From this point, I'm going to send it through my planer, maybe once or twice on each side just to get it level. Okay, I'm going to send it through the planer, probably one time on each side. Okay, from here I'm going to go over to the miter saw, and I'm going to cut my 5-inch pieces. Okay, I went over the miter saw and I cross-cutted my 5-inch pieces. So what I'm going to do from there, I'm going to reverse them like so. Alright, now I'm going to glue them all together. Now I got my grain running this way, which will run this way on the chessboard. Okay, I set up my clamps to where they're ready to go. Get yourself some space in here. From this point, we're going to go ahead and put glue on the surfaces here. Okay, we're down to our last piece. Remember, you want to always put glue on both sides. Okay, this is the end piece, so I don't need glue down here, of course. But all right. Now I'm going to butt it up against here. I'm going to take it. We want one side, so I'm going to feel this side is nice and flat. Take another one, go up to it. Okay, feels flat. Next one. Feels good there. Then the last piece. Always try to get one edge as close to being flat as I can. I don't worry about the other edge yet. Okay, at that point we're going to just snug these up a little bit, not much. Just where it touches. Okay. Okay, just snug them up. I'm going to feel it again. Okay, this moved. So you can still adjust them with the white glue. You can still adjust. That's what I like about it. Right? Yeah, that feels good. Okay, now we want to make sure is that, like I said, these are flat onto the bar. So push down. You want them onto the bar. Okay, that feels pretty good. Okay. Okay, just a little more. Now I'm going to check them again. All right, now you want to push down on this bar as hard as you can. Okay, push down and then snug it up. Okay, now you want to take just a damp cloth. You want to wipe the glue off the top of this the best you can. It gives one side a smoother, flat spot to work on when you're working with the wood. So, all right, and of course the edge here. I don't care about the other edge. All right, just kind of a little bit of damp cloth will work. All right, I'm going to let it dry for 24 hours. Okay, it's been over 24 hours, so we're going to take off the clamps now. Now we turn it over, you noticed, you see all the glue that's hardened here? We want to remove that with a sharp knife, just chisel. Just kind of go over and take that off, because that's kind of hard on the knives, on your joiner and planer. I'm going to send this through the planer. Now it's going across grain when it cuts, so if you have sharp blades on your planer and you take off very little at a time, you'll be okay. So I'm going to do both sides, okay? From here, I'm going to take the one leveler edge across the joiner. So the planer worked good on this. Remember, take off very little at a time. Now it's time to go through the joiner on this. Okay, I'm set up here. Now I'm going to be running this through a couple of times, taking off very little. As long as your knives are sharp, this will work. All right, looks good all the way across. Okay, from this point, this is going to go on the rip fence. Then I'm going to cut them to 1 3/4, rip them down. Actually, it's cross cutting to 1 3/4. I'm going to make 2 of them out of this. Okay, the border has been completed. They've all been run through the planer and joiner. They're all the same thickness. They're all the same width. Now, if you noticed on this here, I got the grain running this way, so that's going to go here and here. Then I have this run like so. That's going to be the border. Notice I have a little extra. I'll be putting 45s on this. Now, if you notice when I put these up here, I have just a little bit of a lip on this, not much, but I want this higher than this. Now the next step is I'm going to take this edge through the bench sander, because this edge is going to go inside here. Sometimes it makes it where it won't go flush unless it tips up too much. So I just take off all the edges around here. So we're going to sand that off. Okay, we sanded our corners, just the one corner that sits inside there. Now you notice how flush it gets. You take this off a little bit and go in there real deep. So all 4 quarters of it done. Now the next step is to cut 45s around here. Okay, I'm ready to cut the 45s. So let's go for it. Okay, we've got the 45s cut on the one side. So from this point, I'm going to work my way around to cut the length on the other 45. We got the 45s cut on one piece, one end only of each piece. Now you notice I put an arrow here. This points to the part I sanded, because I know that part I want to go in here, so I don't want to get mixed up. So you run it up, take the other piece you cut and run it up into it. Now you want it such a really good fit in here, so you move it back and forth until you get it. See how you can move it? Move it back and forth until you get it really tight. When you get it tight like this, you're going to mark this side here. You're going to mark it right here, and then you're going to put a line like this, knowing you're going to cut it that direction. You don't want to cut it this way, then you mess the whole thing up. Okay, so let's go around and do this whole thing. You're going to have to take your time. Get it really precise so each of these corners match up really tight. This has not been glued yet. I'm testing it. What I'm doing is I set it up, I clamped it. I want to make sure that there's no gap in here all the way down. That's the first thing you look for. Second thing is run your straight edge across to make sure that it's not bending up or down, meaning like when you put it on, you don't want it to be up like this or down like this. You know, I'm over exaggerating, but you just want to make sure that the straight edge, it's straight across. Last thing you check for, you butt this end up. Okay, look at it. Looks good here, looks good here. And do the same with this side. This looks good. So I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to run glue across this edge, and across here, and across here. And then I'm going to put it on, and then I'm going to clamp it just like you see here. Now I'm going to let this sit for 24 hours. I'm just going to do one side at a time. If this shifts at all, when you go to do your second one, it's going to throw it off. So I'm just going to do one at a time. Okay, I threw the glue in here. Now I threw wax paper underneath here because I don't want these pieces of wood here to glue to this, because the glue might come out of these cracks. So put wax paper down, because this will glue to this, you know, you won't get it off. And then double check again, just make sure everything's lined up real good. It's going to be real nice and tight. Okay, that will do it for that. Let's let it sit for 24 hours. Okay, it's been 24 hours, so we're going to go ahead and take off the clamps. Okay, you noticed how when I clamp here, I'm not actually clamping here. If I clamp here, this part here keeps this straight, is pretty straight. So, all right, you got the wax paper, which looks good. Okay, from this point, we're going to go around and we're going to put all these together. All right, you want to line it up, make sure this is flat, even, You're going to true across, then we're going to glue it the same way we did this, then we're going to do the next piece and then the last piece. Okay, I did the same thing as I did on this piece. It's already dried. I clamped it down. I checked for the space in here, check for the 45. Make sure you check on this side, put it up. Okay, it looks good. You don't want any space in here or across here. So this looks good. It looks like it's going to work really good. So next step is I'm going to take it off. I'm going to put glue on this side here and on here. So put glue across there. Make sure you put glue on here. Put glue on here and across here. Then put it together. Then clamp it like so. So I'm going to go around the whole thing and get this done. Okay, as the old saying goes, we got to let this sit for 24 hours. I'm going to build a black walnut skirt around the bottom of it. So I figure I'll go about 2 inch. So I'm going to rip down 4 pieces, 2 inches wide, probably by 19 inches. So I'm going to go rip that now. We'll get that going for the skirt since we're waiting for the glue to dry. This ends part 4 of Builder Series, Building a Chessboard. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. The links are in the description box below. If you like the video, please thumbs it up and share it. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.